don't even know. Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Shirley Dorr.
And Barack Obama. It's your audio besties here, and this is Not That Podcast.
Not That Podcast. Every Tuesday, we're sharing personal stories and giving advice
on mental wellness, sexual pleasure, relationships, and pretty much whatever the hell we want.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Shirley Dorr.
And Barack Obama, aka Siwa Obama, Uncle Pascal Deuce. I've been lacking on saying that, and that's my constant. So I need to get back to that repetition. But that's because I was gonna be Sade for a second.
The what?
I was gonna be Sade for a second.
All the wets in the wet worlds. I was gonna be Sade for a second. She is Sade, but she's still Barack Obama. So Siwa.
AKA Siwa Obama, Uncle Pascal.
Siwa to y'all hoes. Let me try this.
Yeah, somebody got hoes in different area codes. I know. Call it
like a motherfucking dog. I see.
There we go again. With the music.
Always. See, we just gonna post it every week. I'm singing a song on the podcast. Because clearly, that is our thing.
Yep. Pretty much.
All right, let's do that.
Oh,
spiel again.
Wow, what happened?
Nothing. All right, so a lot is happening. A lot has happened this past week. Your girl wants to go in hiding. That is how intense thing has got. So I felt like breaking the ice with a little thingamajigger that will let me know how you feel about dating men. So our last episode, if you didn't hear it, we answered all those gender war questions, 50-50. What would you do if your man didn't bring your kids food? We answered all those questions.
Sitting in the front seat.
We did all of it. So would you, and I'm going to give you some like personal information about these people, and you're going to let me know if you would date these people or not. Okay?
Okay.
So the first one is a 32-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
He is Latino.
Okay.
He makes $18,000.
Absolutely not.
I
don't need to hear the rest.
Why 18,000? Why that stop?
You cannot support yourself. I'm going to end up having to foot the bill, or you're going to tell me to pay 50-50. And in the last episode, I told y'all I don't pay 50-50. And, money is very important to me. I know some people were calling you elitist or like, oh, capitalism and all whatever. That's the way things just happen to me. Just like y'all tell women, yeah, a man shouldn't treat you or judge you by what you wear, but that's just how society is. Mm-hmm. That's just how society
we live in a capitalistic society. Why are you guys like, what are you going to do?
I don't know how you guys can't
stop America from being capitalist? Like, are you going to revolt and be like, no more capitalism? You love buying shit.
Yeah. No.
You like National Pizza Day.
Not even that, but for you to do anything, for you to get to work, you're either going to need gas in your car. So you're going to need a car, or you're going to need public transportation. Public transportation is not free. You feel me? You're going to need to you need to buy shoes to walk your ass to the bus stop. You feel me? Like, you're going to need the money anyway. So for people to act like money isn't everything, you spend 40 hours if you work full time. You spend 40 hours literally making this money, like making money. Like, you don't spend 40 hours trying to find love and be like, man, you know what? I'm not going to work today because love. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And what if your job paid you in love?
Right.
That don't make any sense. 18,000. I don't even want to hear the rest, but you can tell the rest for them.
So the rest. So Rock stops at 18. He told me he made 18, and I was like, let's dig a little deeper. And I was like, what are your financial goals? So this person has no financial goals, but they're seeking a wife to improve their financial status. Is he relationship material?
You asking them, because I already said no.
Is he relationship material? If he is relationship material, go ahead and put it in the poll on the actual podcast episode, the audio episode on Spotify. Mm-hmm. And if he is or is not relationship material, go ahead and comment it under the YouTube. Okay? So the next person 26-year-old male, black male. He makes $55,000 a year. He's currently a server looking to become a restaurant manager. Is he relationship material?
Yes.
What makes him relationship material?
He's relationship material, but okay, I'm gonna take the age into consideration too. Because he has goals for himself. He's working towards those goals, so he's actually in the process of his goals. So he doesn't have like it's not really like a potential thing because he is already working in a restaurant. So he is in the process of doing what he needs to do. A lot of people think that, oh, you gotta have faith and this, that, the other, but some people haven't even started their goals. And at a certain age, there's no more potential. You need to be in a spot for you to get to where you need to be. And he's in a spot to get to where he needs to be. And he has, I think 55 is enough for you to be able to take care of yourself. Even if you have a roommate, that he might have more disposable income to be dating and stuff like that. But with 55, he might be able to live on his own. He'll be able to buy his own food, pay for his own car. I don't have to pay 50-50. And he wouldn't rely on me financially. And that is something that you could build.
Okay. Last person, 21-year-old, white male, real estate agent. Is he financial material? Is he relationship material?
First of all, it's funny because you didn't even put money on that one. You didn't even say how much you real estate agent. Is he flipping houses or he's selling houses?
Makes $75K.
I don't care about the $75K. Does he build? Is he a broker? Or he's just an agent? And does he sell houses or does he
He's
flip
a real
them?
estate agent. He's not a broker.
So he sells them or he flipping them?
He sells a home as a real estate agent.
If he wasn't a real estate agent, I would say yes.
Okay.
But the characteristic of real estate agent is fine. Just the characteristics of them, the audacity that they have, the thinking that they know more than everybody. They're build your what you call it, your financial wealth nonsense, whatever. I don't know. And he's white. I don't even like white guys. If that was the case, if he makes $75K, he's a real estate agent or something like that, I'll probably try to like sugar daddy or like play it. Because I'm really like, and he's 21.
He's a baby.
No, because now that sounds like one of those frat boys at the white schools. Real estate agent. He's definitely sounds douchebaggy.
Already, damn.
Yeah.
So this is to show you that all we need to know is your age, your race, and how much money you make to determine whether we want to be with you or not.
I don't think so. I think these are definitely factors that we look at, but
It's not a determination.
Yeah,
But it is a contribution to decisions that you make when you pursue a relationship.
yeah. You definitely have to know. I mean, some people are saying, "Oh, you wouldn't know if you're on a date. You shouldn't disclose your financial situation or whatever the case is." But based on what you do, how you dress, how you got there, what you say, like that would show your financial situation, anyways.
Right.
Like for example, like there's a lot of women who, you guys may not be used to this, but there are men who send Ubers on a date. Like, hey, I will send you an Uber to get to this place so you don't have to drive. You can drink, you can do whatever, and then your Uber will take you home.
Right.
And some women are just used to men sending Ubers, and then when they start dating these men who don't send Ubers, they're just like, hey, I'll meet you there. They're a little caught off guard. And then you guys call them all types of names.
Right. So, like, for example, with the $55K, that's actually, like, not enough money for someone to want to be supported off of. Like, it's enough to support one person, but not enough for a woman to be like, oh, you're going to also pay my bills. But because there's potential, right, that this person is looking to move forward in his career and that there's a desire to produce more income, but also he's within the age range. He's also a Black male. So like that idea that this person is at least working towards something makes you more confident in their relationship material, but also their financial goals. Like, what are they looking for? What he wants.
I'm a reformed, taking care of of Barbara the Builder. I don't do that anymore, but I've definitely supported men on 40K.
Right.
I've definitely bought his family groceries on 40K. I've definitely like gave him money for gas or take him out to eat and stuff on 40 and still be okay on my own. So 40, like you can't build a family off of that amount, but you can definitely contribute to somebody else's life with at least like 40.
Right. So that brings me to the tweet that brought up this conversation. Shout out to Reggie for sitting on the phone with me and processing information. So I had a person approach me, and when he approached me, we talked back and forth, and a lot of people were like asking this question, like, what made me ask the question? And as I told Reggie was like, somebody said that if you really didn't like him in the first place, because if you really liked him, you wouldn't ask that question. False. I want to make note that I'm a therapist. Like, while I am no longer practicing, I've been doing this for a very long time. And one of the things that come up in relationship therapy is your domains of wellness. And in pre-engagement and premarital counseling, most people don't do it, right? But in those two decision-making processes of seeking wise counsel before you get married or before you get engaged, we sit down and we pull out a huge inventory. And the inventory might either be, I'm forgetting, it might be a Gottman's interview, if you are certified in Gottman. Thankfully, I am. Or it's just a relationship construct study, which anybody who's conducted research will do if you do anything in relationships. In that packet, we ask every question known to man that Gottman, this man who spent 25, 35 years plus making things that improve upon relationships. And it's broken down into the early life down to late life. And one of the main questions is, who is taking care of what? What is the division of things like in the home? What are financial situations? Are you a gambler? How do you handle money? Do you have a savings account? All of these questions come up because before you get married, you should know your partner's financial status. Now, people are like, this is the thing you're supposed to ask. No, you ask before you get married, because when you get married, you are taking on someone. The responsibility is now shared, right? And we go as far as saying that people need to do this before they get engaged. Not even when you're engaged, because that whole year you're wedding planning, you're now merging finances to make a life decision to be together for the rest of your life. So even before you get married, you ask these questions because you want to know if this person is actually the person you want to be with for the rest of your life. Of course, when you get married, things change, you start to learn more. But if you ask the basic general 12 questions that Gottman built, you will gain a better insight on who your partner is. So yes, people can ask the question about their financial status. People don't ask because society deems it inappropriate. And with that, these are questions that I, Shirley Dort, not the therapist, the person who dates, will ask prior to a relationship, because I know that the second leading cause of divorce in the United States, 48% of marriages end because of financial decisions or stress, anxiety, and poor communication as a result of finances.
What's the first one?
The first one is infidelity.
Good job, cheating.
It varies it seems like every 10 years, because prior to me becoming a therapist, the number one reason was lack of communication, but like lack of communication goes into each barrier. Study is as a result of poor communication, financial issues, stress, and all of that stuff is because of lack of communication. Like in most areas, communication is a problem, but if you look at the physical things that actually cause it, they shift every 5 years. You'll see like the difference.
I also want to bring this to y'all attention. If I don't know who you are, I've never met you a day in my life, you slide in my DMs and you want me to give you a chance, you're the one trying to pursue me. So I'm confused where you guys feel like somebody random slides in your DMs and you're supposed to immediately like them and immediately give them a chance. That doesn't make any sense.
So the tweet, for those who may have not followed me on Twitter and like stuff like that. So I tweeted, I asked someone what their annual income is, and it was below the poverty line. I asked why he was dating, and he said, if we come together, we can change that. I don't know if you guys see Joe Biden's economy, but dating isn't for people who can barely support themselves. I expressed to him that I have no desire to simply be partnered with someone that just wants to get out of poverty. If you lack the self-determination to improve your financial situation now, a relationship will not improve it. To seek a partner who can barely afford life is already a sign of poor financial decision making. Well, they ate my ass up. Realistically, there are a lot of people who agreed and there are a lot of people who disagreed. I think that people hyper focus on the negative, but like it would be one thing if someone was like, oh, you know, like that's bad. That's a bad decision. You shouldn't do that. It got to the point where people were like coming for me as a person. And that's how I know, you know, like the therapist in me is like, okay, a lot of people, you may not realize this, but a lot of people on social media actually has no money. A lot of people are actually very broke, maybe cannot sustain living. And I knew this when I made a tweet about therapists and my request for therapy. Like I had plugged my therapy account. I never really talk about therapy, but I felt like so many people were needing a Black therapist, and I had plugged it in, and we had maybe like 150 calls for me to be their therapist, and only 4 of the people who actually called could afford it. Of 150 people, only 4 people could afford my rates, and my rates were like $100 an hour. So most people, and then even with me giving them my sliding scale goes the lowest at 60. People couldn't afford 60. That's $60 a month to see a therapist once a month, right? So that already said to me then that people on Twitter really don't make money, but this shows even more that they don't make money, because people were getting so mad to the point where they were saying, they called me a whole bunch of words. They said that I was a eugenist. They said that I was a capitalist. They said that I was elitist. They said that I was anti-Black. All of this. Simply because I don't want to date someone below the poverty line. And a lot of people were asking me, like, why didn't you defend yourself, whatever. You should have told them what you really meant. Mm-hmm. I was like, first of all, I grew up in foster care, so I know what the fuck it's like to be broke and have nothing. Right? I know what it's like to be impoverished. I don't want to go back to that. And even if I made a lot of money, I don't want to experience the life of an impoverished person and see it in my partner. Because that shit's tough. It's hard. It's hard making a lot of money, but it's harder not making enough.
I went through the tweets for her because she has them muted. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to curse some people out too, but specifically, I just don't like the people on social media who didn't even like say anything about the actual like topic, but just like came at her character, or came at her physical attributes, or came at her crazy for no fucking calling her the N-word. I was like, whoa. It is not that deep. For her to have her own opinion on her page, which is funny because when we started this podcast, I was getting the same nonsense on TikTok over a fictional show. So I was just like, I hate those people. If there's any hackers out there, I will pay you big bucks to find out who the hell these people are. Because I don't like that. They were hiding behind stuff. But I went through the tweets, and then this is basically from the negative reactions, this is what people were saying. Mm-hmm. And then so I want you to go ahead and
react to it.
And yeah, so like respond to them here. Okay, because first of all, y'all thought y'all comments were unique. When I tell you 99% of them were repeated. And there were also some things that I thought of after, because I also talked to Reggie, that I thought of after that they could have said, but they didn't say. Right? So I'm also going to say that. But so this is a summed up of what everybody was saying.
Okay.
So broke people don't deserve love? Just because you're poor, you can't find the love of your life?
That's not what the tweet said. That's literally my answer. That's not what the tweet said.
You're saying poor people shouldn't be dating.
I'm saying this broke man cannot date me. Me.
Hey.
Me. I know a lot of you guys were like, do you make more than the poverty line? I stopped making below the poverty line when I turned 21. I'm 30 now.
I don't think that it would have been conducive anyways, because I also responded. I was like, I would never date broke. Like, I'm not dating broke men anymore. I've already done my fair share.
We've contributed to society already.
Contributed.
We've
dated broke men before.
We've contributed our debt to society already.
Yeah. And like I've been in relationships where even though I'm paying for everything, that was not the issue.
No.
I was paying for everything and money was not the issue in that relationship. Okay? So we've already done what we've already done our community service hours.
We've done this.
Okay?
We know that I wouldn't say it if I didn't experience a bad experience with it. I don't want, and I want to stress that I said someone who is living beneath the poverty line. And the thing with people on the internet, they read something and they come up with the things in their head. So they create their own meaning. I had this issue in my last relationship. I would say something and he would come up with his own meaning based on his worldview and his perspective, but not what is in front of them. And we do this a lot in therapy. People be like, you need to be mindful and grounded and present. A lot of people weren't present. They saw the tweet. It may have triggered them to the past or triggered them to the future where they feel like they're too broke or they were too broke. And then they just projected. But the tweet literally said the poverty line. Most of the people on that tweet went and looked. My Google search results went up. People were searching all on Google to find what they could about me to talk something. So many people. And I was like, oh, my Google research was up. I was like, oh, how many people looking at Shirley Door? What's a lot today? So many people were looking me up. And I was just like, the way you looked me up, you could have easily searched the poverty line. And you could have looked up the poverty line. And that would have answered your question. Because if you looked at the poverty line, you would have been like, oh, the poverty line is actually 18,000. I don't know if that's enough to be partnered with 18,000. Me and Reggie did the math. If this man were to let's just say in an ideal world, I paid for all our dates. All our dates. To date me, you can already infer off of my social media that you have to get tested. Testing ranges from $50 to $100 if you want a full STD panel. You want the basic stuff, is free, but I require a full STD panel. That's $50 every 3 months. You already lost some money. Now you got to drive because I live in Kissimmee. Mm-hmm. Kissimmee's 45 minutes from everything.
No, you got to pay for it. You got to pay for love.
Right. But I'm not paying to drive nowhere. I can meet you halfway, but I'm not driving everywhere. Gas. Let's just say You want to see me every week because you want to marry me in 6 months. Let's just say his goal is to marry me in 6 months so he can use my money. 6 months.
So he can use my
In 6 months, right? In 6 months, you would have already lost $3,000 just to date me. Let's not even talk about marriage, just to date me. So that's $3,000 out of the $18,000 he made. Now, just to date me, you now only have $15,000 left.
Mhm.
I spend, if I could, I promise you, there are months where I was spending $20K a month. And a year, a month, a year, a month, a year, a month. Elitist, bitch, I work hard. Hard. 6 years of education to get a higher education degree. 6 years. Whatever money I make right now, I deserve. Think I'm elite all you want to. I worked to get here. I was told that I wasn't destined to be here, okay? Everybody in my family did not make it to the point of where I am today, or except for my younger siblings. I worked hard to get here. I was told I even couldn't get here. I was told that I was only meant to be one thing, and I became who I am today. So if anybody feels some type of way about me going from nothing and being told that I'm nothing and then becoming something, you can kiss my black ass.
Ooh.
You can kiss it. You can kiss it.
I was also going to say that arguing with people online don't mean nothing. I also said that I wasn't dating broke men, and somebody asked me if I have the money that I am requiring other men to have. The answer is yes, but I said that I not only do I have that, I have the things that I think men are looking for. Men are looking for somebody supported. They're looking for somebody to be nurturing. I cook. I clean. I look good. I take care of myself. I smell good. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm loyal. Like, I have the qualities that because men aren't looking for women with money.
Except for this guy.
So the only thing the thing I wanted to ask him was, do you have the BBL that you expect women to have? Like, do you have the pussy, the wet pussy that you expect the women to have?
Because you're asking if we have that money. And I'm like, even if I didn't have that money, for example, I would like a life of leisure. And the person who's going to give me a life of leisure, who's going to pay my bills, because you have to think about how much money I spend a month. That would be financial suicide for anyone who makes less than like 75K. Realistically, if I as a human being by myself can spend 20K a month, what's going to happen to you? So now I have to reduce my life to meet the person where they're at, right? Or I have to bring them up. But if I bring them up to 20K, I have to double my income.
Or you would go down in attempt to bring them up, because you have to come back down to get them. So you would be most likely financially investing in a way for him to get up.
Right.
So
all of that in a relationship, we're not even married.
Yeah, in a relationship. I pay half the rent.
I pay the bill. I pay the bills. I paid half the rent today. I saw in like the comments on Lena Sweet, because that was the only one that like tagged me. So like there's a whole bunch of people posting me, like the neighborhood talk, like all these other people. And I didn't go in the comments because I wasn't tagged. So I was like, I'm not going to add to your engagement. Just enjoy the engagement. But I on Lena Sweet, and somebody had said that I can only see the first few comments because they tagged me. The moment they tagged me, I was actually on social media. So they tagged me and I saw the first few comments. And of course, there's a whole bunch of women who were like, one of the women was like, only in America will you find a man who wants you to support them. Like, did you not watch TV? Growing up, when we watched TV, we were told that African men only date you if they have riches.
The men are the bad bitches now.
In Haiti, even with poverty, the only way a parent will let you marry their child
is if
is if you are in it, it's not
And
even money.
You need to come with the success.
You have to bring something to the family. And usually the male has to bring some form. Now, we're not talking about people who are impoverished. I'm not impoverished. I literally am not impoverished. I'm not living off of $0 a day. So I cannot be in a $0 a day lifestyle when I don't make $0. As a person who is, and we don't even have no middle class anymore, bitch. It's low or high. It's one or the other now.
Oh, then I'm low class.
Right? It's low or high. It's either you make no money or you make some money, right?
With that being said, there were a couple things that I saw that was not mentioned, which I feel was kind of, y'all are one track minded and y'all just wanted to be upset, right? When men are dating women and then they say that they're not ready to get married, what is the usual reason for them to not want to be married? If it's not, it's a piece of paper. If it's not the piece of paper, bull BS. There's not enough money. I'm not financially where I need to be
To marry
you. Right? So men know that money is important for certain things, but now let's just throw it out into the wind, right?
When a woman says
what did Steve Harvey say?
Steve Harvey literally just said, men be like, he said, men are like, what do you bring to the table? What do you mean, what do you bring to the table, man? We'll insert the clip. What do you mean, what do you bring to the table, man? That doesn't matter. It's all about what you bring to the table. You're supposed to be bringing everything to the table. Everybody's like, yeah, Steve Harvey.
And for all you, because I saw a lot of men who hate women in the comments. You can tell when men hate women. And the men that hate women are usually people who like Kevin Samuels. I'm going to put the two and two together. For the most part, men who hate women love Kevin Samuels. This is something Kevin Samuels would tell you to do.
Yeah.
This is literally one of Kevin Samuels' things.
A high-valued man would never go after a non-high-valued woman.
I definitely saw a viral clip where he said, you don't make no money, you don't got a big dick, you shouldn't be dating.
I'm a high-valued woman. I'm a high-valued woman. I am a high-valued woman. And I, in the words of Kevin Samuels, should not be dating anyone who doesn't live up to a high-valued woman's standards.
I didn't see any of the Kevin Samuelites in there defending and saying that, that's how it should be.
That's how it should be. Also, let's make note that when a man says that he doesn't want to date a woman who's pursuing him to get out of poverty, who's pursuing him because they're broke, they're always calling him a gold digger. A man. But a woman says that she will not be with a man who's trying to pursue her for money. Y'all call me the gold digger.
Technically, he's the gold digger. If you didn't see the tweet, he said that he's not making that much, but if they put their incomes together, then they could build whatever nonsense, whatever men be saying, which is crazy because if a woman said that, y'all would have called her a gold digger. So how is she the capitalist or whatever the case is when he's the one trying to up his financial situation by dating?
Right.
Nobody said nothing about that, which I thought those two things were kind of crazy. Like, those are two things that I felt like somebody should have said that, because everybody was saying the same thing over and over and over. Yeah, keep it love, broke people. You can't tell broke people. Reggie was telling me you can't tell broke people not to date. Broke people, go ahead and date. Okay?
Just don't date me.
Y'all can date each other.
But notice that I'm not even talking about brokenness. I literally said poverty. You can be broke and not impoverished.
The other thing that pisses me off is the people that be asking for a number.
You literally looked up my name. You went to go find out. You went through my entire profile to go find out what I look like, to tell me that I'm overweight, to go find out how much I weigh, obviously, because you know how much I weigh. But you can't go look up the poverty line. It's readily available.
No, but they're saying how much would a man have to make to to talk to you or date you or whatever the case is.
Not at the poverty line. That's the point. That's the point. Like, I can't be with someone who makes 18. You're making $18,000 sounds like you make below the federal line.
Because he's probably part-time.
Right. So that's not helpful. Like, you may be supporting your life, but that's not, I don't want to build a family knowing that I got 5 years before I'm geriatric with someone who makes 18. Point blank, period. Below the poverty line. I don't need to navigate that financial stress with you. When you have determined how to improve your financial status and get out of poverty, then you can come to me and be like, hey, I'm ready to date because now I make enough money to sustain myself and go on dates to get to know you.
There were people who were saying that your comments was misdirected. That it's not his fault that he makes that certain amount of money, because you said in Joe Biden's economy or whatever that you should be more upset at the government. Which one? What the government had to do? What the government had to do with this? But two, if the government, and I was telling you this earlier, I was like, if you're young and you work at McDonald's may start you off at $7.50.
They're at $15 now.
Let's say they start at $15, which is way above 18,000, by the way. But if you're at McDonald's and you've worked there for years, you shouldn't stay at $15. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you should be asking for raises or looking for another job that gets you more or management. And I know management is not getting paid $18,000. No. You know what I mean?
No.
So you should be, whatever you're doing, you should be trying to get better wherever you're at. Mm-hmm. And at 30, you should not be at 18.
No.
And I understand the economy. There were people saying that, oh, I was doing very well, but then, things happened and whatnot. Yeah, that sounded like more of a business risk or whatever, or maybe you did get laid off at your job or whatnot, but you're not starting from zero. If you did have experience and you got laid off, you're not starting from 18,000.
Right, because you while you left this role and you don't have that income, your income potential is not starting at 18. You have the option to go seek a role, and the role is not going to pay you 18. You're not going to go from I made 60,000 to go make 18. You're not going to do that. And if that's the decision that you make, that's on you. I own my own business. I work for myself. But again, I remember making 18. What did I do to not make 18? I got a new career. I got a new certification. Got the certification, started making $18 an hour. Then after 2 years, I wanted more money. I left the job, went to go find another job, got a $3 raise. Then I was like, oh, I like this, but I want to advance this. Went and got a higher education degree, got into a standard role. They weren't paying me enough, left them, got another job in private practice. They stopped paying me enough. Then I went to my own business. It's climbing the ladder. If I don't like something, I'm going to find a solution to it.
Now, if you are laid off and you are looking for another job, why are you focused on love? You need to be focused on
your needs. So I looked through several research studies to support your claims and several research studies to support my claims. So we gonna openly talk about it. Relationships and money go hand in hand. In a 2019 study, they found that regardless of the happiness level of a relationship, money was a topic that couples consistently disagreed on. However, I want to make note that you do not have to have solely date for financial security. You don't only have to date for that. But money is a major factor in relationships, even though the couples were happy. And the happiest couples in this study were those
rich people
who made the most money. And they were white. mostly white. Why? Because mostly white people make more money, right? So they determine that money equals a higher level of happiness in your relationship. The less money, the less happy.
I think they're gonna be upset that white people make more money. Now we understand that systematically Black people are probably never going to make as much money as white people. And yes, we should get together and build wealth and build generational wealth and things of that nature. But I don't think that it is helpful to be a burden. A lot of us are already burdened with our parents. A lot of us first immigration. Like our parents are immigrants and they struggle and they're still working and they can't retire.
Right.
And so we work to try to retire them or help them or pay their bills when things happen. During the pandemic, I have a couple friends whose parents got laid off during the pandemic, and now they're paying their rent and their parents' rent. So we already have things that are holding us back. Now you want us to add a person that's not our family member, that's not interested in marrying us. Half of the time, these men don't even really want something serious with you or anything like that. And you want us to take care of our families, our burdens, the things that we have to, and we're building this for ourselves and our future. And you just want us to be held back.
You want us to do this for the idea of love. I don't know if anyone else needs to hear this, but I love myself enough to not seek happiness in another person. And another person is not going to make me happy. They are a contribution to my happiness.
The girl, what's her name? Cheryl Sprinkle. That Sprinkle girl is just like Kevin Samuels. Y'all don't see it, but I see like her energy is exactly like that. It's just in the opposite direction. And, you know, men just don't like women anyways. But I feel like a lot of the things that she's saying is basically the same thing that Kevin Samuels was saying. But y'all don't want to hear it. But, like she was saying, like, you need to worry about yourself first. You can't do anything before you help somebody else. You know what I mean? And men have this expectation of women are supposed to cook, they're supposed to clean, they're supposed to take care of this, they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. And they need to work and pay half the bills and all this extra stuff. Like, you guys have a lot of expectations of Black women, and like Black women are supposed to take it all just because your mom took it all. We don't want to do that no more.
Right.
We don't want to do that anymore.
I've mentioned this so many times. I don't understand why people don't know that this is a thought process of mine. I'm not here to go through the struggle that I've already done this. This has happened to me already. And I would prefer if I can have control. You know how like when we talk about anxiety, and a lot of reasons why people are anxious is because they're focused on things that are out of their control. The one variable that's within my control is the partner I select. And if I'm going to choose a partner that one of my anxieties are financial because I grew up impoverished. I grew up where there was not enough money to support me, but just enough for me to get by. I'm not going to take my biggest anxiety and add the one thing that makes me the most anxious. So again, to the tweet, I'm telling you what I want to do. Nowhere in that tweet did I tell you what you need to do, what society needs to do, what decisions people need to do. I literally put that as a PSA. The next guy who lives under the poverty line or at the poverty line, don't slide in my DMs.
Don't slide in mine either.
Don't slide in my DMs. It is no offense. You could be attractive. You could be nice. You could be sweet.
It's really anti-Black of you guys to think that a Black woman has to date somebody has to be okay with dating somebody under the poverty line and try to help and try to build him.
Right.
When we've had to do this by ourselves. And I understand that, you know, it's maybe a one-off situation because we are systematically held back or whatever, but we're all still trying to make it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather do it on my own than have to bring somebody I'm only responsible. I think that I'm only responsible. The only man I'm responsible for is the man that I'm going to choose to be my husband. That right now, if I'm dating, I should not be responsible for you, and you're not responsible for me. But when you're courting, you're supposed to impress me because you're the one who wants to talk to me.
Right. And this is someone who wants to pursue me. Like I think it's important for you guys to understand that this person reached out to me with a desire to date me.
And there's people who slide in your DMs all the time.
All the time.
It's a competition.
It's not a competition. It's just, again, like, I just don't want to date someone who's under the poverty.
Because even if it's
not my desire.
Even if it's the other way around. Let's say there's a man and there's a lot of women who want to talk to him or whatever. Let's say he has money and there's a bunch of women over there. You have to be competitive. You have to stand out. You want this person, and this person has his attention on other people. You have to do your best to try to stand out. And that's just traditionally it's the men trying to get the women. So I don't understand in this generation where men feel like they're the bad bitches,
but also
with $18,000 salary.
But also to remind you that I said that he gave me his number, and then I asked him what is his financial goals. So even if the person made $18,000, the answer to the what is my financial goals question
was to build.
Would have been a reason for me to still continue talking to him. And the response of, if we merge our finances together, so his 18 plus whatever I make, not let's make more together, what he makes plus what I make, that will change his situation. He didn't say our, he didn't say together. He said, if we put our money together, that will change his financial situation. No.
Y'all get upset at women who expect to be taken out on expensive dinners or expect you to send an Uber or whatever. And here's a man who expects to up his financial situation by getting into a relationship with somebody who knows is way out of his financial league. And everybody came for Shirley. And I don't like that. And then y'all try to use like her looks or like trying to fat shame her for not wanting to talk to, like,
right.
He was interested in her.
Right. And that's the problem. Someone slid in my DMs because, people get upset when you don't respond. I want to make note that I didn't respond to anybody because my opinion was my opinion. I wasn't here trying to convince anybody to believe anything other than my opinion. I don't know why y'all think I said it for you. I said it for me. It's my Twitter, my page, my opinion. But whatever. They sent in my DMs and someone said, I'm surprised that you were able to get a date in the first place. I said, one thing about me, baby, I'm going to get dick. Okay?
And pussy. Somebody said
and pussy. And one thing about me, it's a revolving door for me. Don't matter how big. People find me attractive. Whether you want to be upset and mad that I hurt your feelings for tweeting about my opinion, that's on you.
And I'm going to bring this fact up every time. I've never watched My 600-Pound Life and one of the bitches is not married.
Never. They always got a partner.
They're always married. The husband is the one who called the show and said, hey, she's getting a little big.
Right.
The husband is worried. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear it. I'm not married.
I don't want to hear it.
But my 600-pound bitches is married.
They're married.
Okay?
Stop thinking that your size dictates your ability to get a relationship. Do you see me?
And if you guys were scrubbing through Shirley's social media, she has a nutritionist. Shirley eats good. Shirley works out way more than me. I don't work out anymore. I had a personal trainer. Shirley works out. Shirley is in good shape. That's just
bodies.
I don't know what.
It's bodies.
What is the problem?
It's bodies. Like, if you actually pay attention to me, you will actually make note that my health has nothing to do with my actual size. Someone said, there's this one girl, and I know if you're watching this and listening, girl, if you want to eat my pussy, you can just say that. You ain't gotta go on the internet talking about I would never listen to a girl with a wide back. Girl, you want to eat this wide back. Come on, sis. Don't do that. You all up on Twitter retweeting other people's, you subtweeting other people's tweets. That's a lot of work for someone who don't like me. Ma'am.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
What you don't find attractive.
Okay.
The fact that y'all can say JT is ugly just means I don't even need to be listening to none of y'all. Because y'all said Chloe Bailey was ugly. Y'all said JT was ugly. Y'all said Halle Bailey was ugly. And the fact that y'all could even say that just says to me that your standards are different and you're allowed to have those standards. But don't think that other people don't have different perspectives and different standards. Like I said, I haven't had a year in my life where there wasn't a guy that didn't want me or a woman who didn't want me. So that's not a problem for me.
And
finding relationships is not hard for me.
And y'all don't know, y'all only know what people put on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one guy may have been sliding her DMs. There's several dudes sliding in Shirley DMs. You don't know who's involved in anything that is going on behind any.
Some of y'all boyfriends, some of y'all husbands. Like,
come on,
relax. It's not that deep.
First of all, Caribbean men love big backs.
They love them. Have you seen their mothers? Have you seen their mothers? And I would love for us to end this with, why y'all don't talk about y'all mamas that we have to talk about?
When y'all come for the way women look, I want you to drop a picture of your mom.
Of your mom and your daddy too. Cause y'all never gonna come for your mama and daddy like the way that you would come for us. That's insane.
It's ridiculous. And I didn't like that. And I don't like that about social media in general. But and that's why I was just like, why even argue? Because the goalpost continues to move on. Like that, the tweet, like I was saying earlier, I said that I do have everything that I'm looking for. Another woman said, yeah, I have, I want to date somebody in my tax bracket, but I can't find anybody because men don't care about money. But as soon as they hear I make a certain amount of money, they don't want to date me. And then Buddy was like, oh, men are not a monolith. Hold up. First of all, it was, do you have the money that you're asking for? Now, we told you we have the money that we're requiring, and now it's a men are not a monolith. Shut up.
Right.
Shut up and go play second rappers with your whole
That's actually true, because when I made less, there are more men pursuing. Now that I make more, people are a lot more like, oh, maybe I'm not in your league type vibe. Like, I went out with a guy yesterday. I'm always going to get a date. I went out with a guy yesterday and he was like, yeah, I didn't really agree with your tweet. And I was like, that's fine. I'm okay with you not agreeing with my tweet. And he was like, yeah, he's like, how much money do you make? And I told him, and he was like, oh. And he's like, well, I see why you live where you live. And I was like, okay. Am I less interesting now that I make more money? I'm assuming I make more money than you. Right. So it's like, even if we decide to do for ourselves and you're like, oh, you need to find your own, do your own. We do our own, and then we're no longer attractive because we make more than you. So that means we don't need you.
I always need more money.
Nobody told you guys that I wasn't looking for love. I just don't want to be partner. I'm not looking to hook
Black
up with
women don't need to struggle.
Right. I don't
to be in love.
I already struggled in my life to get to where I am today. Look, I literally did all of this with no man.
I feel like people just want you to have to reach back. And I can't reach back if I'm not where I need to be. I cannot help anybody if I am not okay. I can't help my mom if I am struggling to pay my rent. If I'm struggling in my own business, I can't help my mom's business if my business is not doing good.
But also, let's make note that if your goal is to be my partner and you want to potentially have a child, a family, you want to raise a family with me. If I were to be pregnant, you don't know what that 9 months would look like. So imagine if this person is making below the poverty line and I'm pregnant and I have to be at home to rest in order to make sure that I'm nurturing this baby's body. Mm-hmm. When I am not working, how is this person going to support me, the baby in my stomach, and themselves at $18,000? Even with my money, if I no longer make money, right? Because I work for myself. I don't work for no corporation that can give me mommy days, expected mother days. I don't have that. The mother days are on me. Mm-hmm. If I'm not supposed to do anything that's going to cause me any harm, and I have to tend to the baby
And this $18,000 person, you're not carrying the child.
And I also don't think that the people on Twitter, you guys are not even in the mindset of actual partnership. I think you guys have a specific idea of what you want your quote unquote partner to do, and you guys are only dating to fill that role.
Yeah, I think people are just dating.
So it's not really even love, because none of you guys really, don't love your girls. You guys hate your girls. You guys want to be around your homeboys, but you want to come home and you want to have sex. You want to make sure that there's food at the house. You want to make sure that your kids are taken care of. Right. You want to, those are the things that you're looking for. And a lot of men, I see they marry women who do those things, but they don't love them. Mm-hmm. They just need somebody to take care of home while they go and chase the love of their life.
Right. So aside from that, there is a sense of empathy that comes up with the post. Like every time I look at it, I'm like empathetic to the fact that maybe majority of you guys are like not really making enough money, and you feel like, love is not there for you. I'm like, love is possible for you, just not with me. Okay. Listen, just don't pursue me.
My light bill would never. They never say, "Hey, you can pay in love this month."
Yeah, no, I don't like when y'all say that, because it's like money doesn't mean, like, this is one person, and I respect her opinion, but she said when something happened to her husband, he got sick, and she was like, money didn't change anything. It was the love that we have for each other.
Oh, she had cancer.
Yeah, and I was like, who paid the cancer treatment?
Yeah.
Who paid for the treatment? Who paid the medical bills? You mean to tell me that none of that, the money, you really mean to tell me that you had cancer and money did not, love. Do you mean to tell me that love mattered in that moment? Because cancer treatments are expensive. Transportation,
the power of love and friendship, it hasn't gotten me anywhere.
This sounds like anime, where you use love and friendship to save the world. I need a partner, and a partner is going to give me love, but they're going to also sustain themselves. Independent sustainability. You're going to sustain yourself. I'm not asking you to sustain me, while I would prefer to be sustained because I want a life of leisure. I'm not telling someone that in order to date me, you have to come sustain me.
But everybody is going through something. Everybody is, especially as Black people, as we know, we're being systematically held back. So we know that everybody is going through something. Nobody's situation is worse than somebody else's, because the situations that I've been through, you haven't been through. You haven't seen it through my eyes. You haven't had my experiences. So based on whatever you have going on, you would never think or know how I feel.
Right. And you would never know why it's important for me not to pursue a relationship with someone who had to go through the same thing. I remember making $7.50 on a part-time job. I've never had a full-time job until I got out of college. So I know what it's like to have to live at 18 or less. I literally never forget the first time I got a paycheck, and the paycheck was $10,000. I was so excited. I used to make $10,000 a year. I was so excited because I went from 0 to 10. 10,000 was like, oh my God, thank God. Like I'll think back to like some of my college friends, and we'll be like, how did we survive off of $800 a month?
Loans, and then now we gotta pay it back.
Yeah, now we gotta pay it. And we didn't survive off of $800 a month. We actually did not survive. We made do, and then we did what we had to do to make more income to pay back all the stuff that we did. Come on, y'all. Don't do that.
Plus interest.
Plus interest. Plus the years that we're like not trying to pay it.
Plus parent plus loan. My mom got.
So listen. In all, my decision to not be with someone who's impoverished is my decision. Whether you like it or not, that's all on you. Like you don't have to date me. You don't have to be with me. Like someone told me that I needed to get my humanity back. Listen, I'm not a vampire. Okay? I'm not a vampire. I'm not a lichen. I'm none of those. I'm not a demon. I just don't want I don't want the stress that comes with being partnered with someone who's impoverished. I've been with someone who wasn't even impoverished, and they made poor financial decisions. Let alone imagine someone with bad financial decision making enough money, but they make bad financial decisions so they don't have no money. No, I don't want that. I'm a savings account girl 401ks, life. I'm that kind of girl. That's the kind of girl I am now. And I would like to be partnered with someone who at least have those systems in place. And you don't have that in place when you make below the poverty line. It's unfortunate, but you don't have that in place.
And stop trying to get Black women to be the one to stop all of this. Like we're not responsible for everybody. I'm only going to be responsible for my husband. That's the only person that I'm responsible for. I can help you a little bit, but I cannot be responsible for you, sir. I cannot be responsible for you. And we've already done our community service. So with that being said, please like, follow, review, share. If you guys have any other things you want to say, other than the 6 things that I already said that you guys continuously said the same thing, that'd be great.
Yeah, comment below.
Yeah, comment below.
We don't care. We don't have any issues with opposition.
Yeah, we do this for the views.
We do this for the views. You like your shirts? We don't have an issue with opposition. We have an issue with disrespect.
Yeah, disrespect.
Don't come for my career. Don't come for my job. Don't come for my weight. Don't come for my looks. Because you didn't hear me say ugly people can't date. You didn't hear me say that. You didn't hear me say skinny people shouldn't be dating. You didn't hear me say that. Don't come for any of these constructs that have nothing to do with supporting my life. Like ugliness will not get me a job. I don't have a job.
They just want to be disrespectful. And y'all who are hiding behind the fake profiles and all that stuff, y'all got a lot of balls. Right. Y'all got a lot of balls behind that. But I would love to see your mother, because your mother raised a bitch.
It's not even that. Come to me. I'm not gonna say that because some of y'all are crazy. You're not gonna say it in my face. You're not. You can't.
But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. Tell us what you think about the shirts. I made them. I make shirts, by the way, guys. Like, I make the shirt. I design them and I print them. Apparently, some people think that I just sell shirts, but I make the shirts. And that's why I was telling you I gotta separate them. So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. Toodles.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. New episodes of This Is Not That Pod drops every Tuesday, so keep up with us by pressing that follow button.
We want to hear how much you're feeling us. So if you love the show, leave us a review. Be sure to read our show notes and tap or click around to support our sponsors.